Consensus All-American, first team All-SEC quarterback. He won back-to-back national championships, one in junior college, the other in the NCAA. He's also has the most rushing touchdown by NFL quarterback. Carolina Panther, Auburn, Atlanta great. Some call him Superman. I call him my nephew, Cam Newton. How was that intro? It was all right. What I leave out? Tell me what I leave out. It was all right. Entrepreneur, father. It's all right. All that, dad. Yeah. Grandfather. Great father. Great business here. Thanks for having us. Yes, sir. Make Club Shake come into fellowship. You did. Anytime. You welcome anytime. Welcome. Look here. I know you want to espresso. That's bad luck. What's bad? Mixing spirits with unspirited drink. That's bad luck. That's bad luck. Okay, we here. You got water? Yep. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Now let's go viral. Yeah, but is it good luck? You dig what I'm saying? So, let's start the roll. How you doing? Be a twin. See what I'm saying? Listen, we're here at your Place Fellowship, and I think it's one of the. I haven't been to a whole lot of cigar spots, but you have your second to none. When you came up with the idea of a fellowship, what were you thinking and what were you hoping to accomplish? Well, I travel a lot, and smoking cigars is a part of my daily routine. And for me, I just wanted to create something that embodies everything that I like. Socializing, networking, being comfortable, as well as eating great food and smoking cigars. So, you combine all those things together, and that's what you get out of fellowship. Was this your first entry into being an entrepreneur? Indirectly. City that has hosted 10 Super I think the first one was realizing at the age of 20 I'm the man of my bloodline. And I say that humbly, being that I got so much high regards to my father. But making those type of decisions really put a lot of things into perspective. Let's get right into it. When you put it by earlier, when you said game managers versus game changers, can you clarify what did you mean? I think I know what you mean, but I want to hear from you. What did you mean when you said there are certain guys, and you can list the guys that you like that are game managers, and there are certain guys that are game changers because they're asked to do different things? Correct. Well, in the game of football today, there's only really 5 game changers at the quarterback position. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. And that's not a title that's just handed out to him. Now, this is the biggest misconception. Being a game manager is not a backhanded compliment. It's something that is not requiring you to win the game all the time. Damn. Game changers, they're asked to win the game every single day, right? And that's just what I meant. And when I went more into detail about it, really became apparent that I'm like, yo, I know we're talking about Brock Purdy here, and I have no quarrels or no issue with him. I think his rise to who he is the perfect definition of the American dream. Right. Hard work, blood, that you get it, and he's done right by the opportunity that he was presented. And for me, I never wanted to kind of come off because I know what it's like to prepare as an NFL player. I think too many times it was assumed or painted as if I was bitter, as if I was a hater, or I'm just calling that how I see it. When I think about game changers, there's top 2 on their team, top 3, top 5. And when I, explain it even more, I was looking at the roster of the San Francisco 49ers, and I'm saying to myself, well, they loaded, right? But he didn't ask for that situation. You know what I'm saying? I played with Christian McCaffrey. I know how dynamic he is. I've always been a fan of Debo Sanders. I've played against Fred Warner. I know the amount of preparation it is. George Kittle, those guys. And, that team is stacked. Trent Williams, those guys, have the ingredients to be or to become a dynasty. Right. And I never wanted to kind of jade that from his hard preparation. I think sometimes, Cam, people remember when I first got into the league, people would critique us, and it's like, well, you never played the game. And if you did play the game, you lose. And now you have players that play the game, were very good, and they're not
Why is he not pushed up?
beyond results. Are you not going to be team this game changer or game manager? See, where are we going with this game? I think we're living in a day and age where people aren't critiquing the take. They're critiquing the person who gave it. Okay. So I say manager. I say game manager, and people were saying you didn't jump on the fumble, you didn't perform, or he's better than you, or you're a bust, or you're doing it. That's not talking about what I said. Sometimes we get distracted. Delivering the message, not the message itself. It's funny that you say that. You listen to Mahomes, Lamar, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers. Those are your Mitchell Burrow. Those are your game changers. Those are the guys that you go into the game and there's a level of expectation week in and week out, sir. We're going to win this game. Correct. Game managers, you're like, okay, if this goes well, if this guy plays well, this guy plays well, if the defense does, we have a chance. No, it's simple. With those 5 guys that I listed, you're telling them, or the unspoken word is, go win us the game. Game managers, in some regard, is you're basically telling them, right. See what I'm saying? Right. Those, don't put the ball at harm's way, protect the football. Just give guys chances to make plays on your behalf, on our behalf, and we'll win the game. You do realize, when you face certain things like this, and this is, I remember when you had the comment, and your dad called me, when you said, the term you use, what's the term that you use? Random. And I'm thinking to myself, does he understand? If he goes into one of these locker rooms and that he called random, how uncomfortable that's going to be. Did you think about it in that terms? It is. And give him the oxygen. They were loving the fact that he got in. On purpose. Well, using my platform. However it comes out. It may be aggressive. It may be, a little slang sometimes, but it's the truth. Right? And I'm not vernacular just because of the setting that I'm in. Right? You can put me in the locker room. You can put me in a barbershop. And you can put me in a podium. You can put me in front of ESPN, Fox, CNN. It doesn't matter. Right? My vernacular will not change. Right? And randoms were guys who I still do feel that they've been given opportunities that guys of my stature never got. And that's just the truth. I think that's going to make for some very uncomfortable, tough conversations. So, this is when I realized that I'm not for everybody. That's when I started living in my true self. The quarterback, you have to be for everybody. You know you face it because you got to be good with D-line, the O-line, the wide receiver, the running backs, the DB. You actually are the CEO of the business. And you understand a lot of people anybody you probably already have. People who are watching this, let them do their research. Find a teammate that said Cam Newton was an amazing teammate. You call me random, you tell me that Cam, you can have a conversation. Well, that's just competition. It's just competition. Anytime that I ever wanted to insert myself. Let's compete, right? That's a cultural thing. I'm competing with you right now, right? So Shay versus Funky Friday, Nightcap versus One Thor. It don't necessarily matter. It's a healthy competition, right? You know what I'm saying? And we have to normalize that. We're seeing it in music right now. J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Drake. Healthy competition. Now, don't get distracted by the words. Understand the message and where it's coming from. So, see guys have too many city backups.
That dude stinks.
That's my way of being. I understand who I am. And you want me to minimize myself? You want me to dim my lights to somebody else? Well, you have to be able to light to be a backup. I told you who I would back up, but that still wasn't good enough. So now, this whole emancipation of the black person supposed to be, especially a black quarterback. You want me to shrink or minimize myself? Damn. You have a wife and kid, you won't be that.
When do you think you can start believing
without a job,
maybe you're in the midst
you
of
say,
something
well,
special?
Well, you and I both know every head coach never wants that thought to creep into a
in the
locker room.
position to say that he's trying to
Not
feed
quite
said
at this
family.
time, because if we look at the Steelers in 2020, they're a great example. Remember, they started 11-0, then lost 5 of 6 and went out in the first round. I think if you get
So the
toward
problem with that card in the beginning, when you had the
and you're still
power.
doing this, that's when
That's
things
cool. You can't say different. And I don't think it's a difference in what you talk. We'll talk about this later. When Jonathan said, look, I want you to go here, there, and there. Okay, fine, I have a problem with that, although I didn't really particularly like when Eli did it. What I'm saying, when you have the power, Superman, Clark Kent ain't got the power. Superman had the power. The guy that did this, the guy that was 15-1, that's all that shit. But this is what I'm telling you is this.
And he'll elect
That
not to
person
run with it. And a fair catch
you're
on the
talking
kickoff
about.
will move the ball to the 25.
Very confident person that oftentimes get misinterpreted as cocky. This can't think he is to sit up there.
Getting set for their next
This
drive, the New
is
Orleans
me telling you.
offense. Well,
I've
CD, you kind of
admitted
feel
to
like
putting
they're in a bit
myself
of a danger
in
zone right
some
here.
fucked up
Because now you're down 3
situations.
scores, and I know we're in the first
And
half,
I don't
but
want to put
the
myself
way
in no
this
more
offense
bad
hasn't been able to
situations.
generate anything, you feel like they
So,
probably need to get
if you
something
give me an
going on
off
this
season
drive,
to
right?
learn
Yeah, and sometimes
a
that's
playbook
overused if this is an
properly,
important possession.
if you give me
But I
a
think this
time
has
to
to be a
really
possession where
understand
you
the
come up
play
with an answer,
caller's
because
purpose,
only a few teams
now
really
I
get to
can
ever
interpret
come
what
back
he
from
was
4
trying to
straight
do and also
losses.
give
And
my
if they don't
insight
score
to
here,
it.
that's what they could be facing the
Most
next time they get
situations
the
that I
ball.
didn't necessarily
It's a
have. I was
6-yard
learning
pickup,
in
and
New
it gets him
England.
to
I was
2nd
learning,
and
and I said,
4.
it's not
He
time
was
to
well over
get.
100
I
yards
was
last
learning
week. He told us
a
this week,
20
little
year
ambitious that he wants to
system
hit
and
that
trying to
200
cram
mark. We'll
that
see.
Makes
throughout the
sense, though,
year,
doesn't it?
as well
Have you ever
as
run into a
I'm
running
seeing
back
that
that
month
had a
before.
great game the week before that didn't think that's just
Go
going to
to
naturally
Carolina.
continue? Just make sure you feed me the football.
I was trying
And
to
that's what
learn
they're
on
all
the
about.
go. And on top of
Continuity,
that,
rhythm,
you fire
no
the
break carry.
OC
Just keep
2
giving it
weeks
to 'em.
into
How does he beat him off the press?
Overshot him. It's incomplete.
And there, even
So
if
I'm
you've
telling
got to
you,
take
like,
something
yo,
off that throw so that he slows down to catch it,
this is
that's
me
far more
representing myself.
important
And
than
if
what
I can't
happened
represent
there.
myself as
Big
sweet,
miss on what should have been a
as honest as I
touchdown.
know how, I don't want to put myself in no bad situations because my
Now they
production
face a
was
3rd
being
down and
impacted
4 after
by
that
bad
incompletion on
situations.
2nd
But when I
down.
say that, it's me saying, who
From the
does he
gun,
think
it's a
knows?
hold for
Man,
Kamara.
it's just
And he'll
the
be
truth
stopped
that I'm
well
speaking
short.
my truth.
Only
But
2
the thing
yards
is, man,
here.
the
4th and
people
3.
that you mentioned,
Fourth
the
and short,
likelihood you
partner.
weren't going to get a chance to play.
Really
Hello?
risky call. Here we are in the first
You
quarter
realize
on
what
your
they
own
was
side
going to
side of the field.
I
But
knew
boy,
my
what
phone
a
was
tone
going to
setter
ring,
that would
but
be
I
to
still
go
had
for
to
and get it,
tell the
wouldn't it?
people what
He's
I
ready
wanted.
today. I like it.
I'm feeling
And that's the
it.
power of media right there, bro.
And
We
now
don't have
I
to
know you like running your fakes.
publish it in a newspaper or a magazine.
They'll
I
have
can
2
go direct to the
remaining as
source.
we step
Either
aside
with
here
X,
in this
Twitter,
first quarter.
TikTok, Instagram, or platform. That's the whole platform. I'm going to tell you what I want, bro. And it's for you to sit through and say, okay,
Now
that
remember,
juice
they were
is worth
unsuccessful
squeeze, right?
earlier
And
in
if
this
not,
first
then
quarter.
it is what it
Going
is.
for
And
it on
I'm fine
4th.
with
They're
that.
going to
That's
try
the
a
thing that
second
people
time.
don't understand. I was ready to walk away from the NFL when Carolina released it the first time.
Pass taken in.
So me being in this position right now, it don't make me
Is out
uncomfortable.
of bounds. is
Yeah.
inside the 35.
Just say cheating. They be very well. Why didn't you? You said you were ready to walk away, and you was dealing with injuries in Carolina. Why did you take that offseason
right?
I definitely was surprised that
and
they
then
decided to
come
go
back?
for it in this situation. But they must have either
That's
felt like they
the
either had
gift
a
and the
great play
curse,
call on, or they're trying to show
because
extreme
the
confidence.
opportunity presented itself as a competitor, as a Lion.
So now
When
following
an
the roll
opportunity
of the
presents
dice,
itself, you
they've
say
got
to
a
yourself,
first and 10 inside the
"You can do
35.
it. You can do
Now
it."
a first
I
down
don't need
carry
that much time.
Kamara.
How y'all missing tackles, bro?
Leaves him with 2 to go
And
on
it
second
didn't work
down.
out right. And I don't have nobody else to blame but me. Even though I'm saying to myself, those are bad situations.
Operating from the
Even those
gun.
situations,
Rhodes.
as
He's
it
going to
was
let it go deep
arising,
for the end
still
zone.
having fun.
How did he get beat?
Touchdown, New Orleans.
Yeah, it was CK.
How you get beat? Involvement.
Saints get a bit closer.
It's
And now
like if you
before we
know
get to
an
the extra
email is
point,
toxic,
remember all
and still
touchdowns
you
have
know
to be
it's
confirmed
toxic.
by the replay official.
Jim will be toxic when it's good. Damn, those. This is see.
Oh, this shit is crazy.
Come on, we gonna keep it in buck now.
It's up,
Okay.
it's good.
Why does it? How do you play man free and you get beat?
Some red flags equate to Six Flags. Is it a fun ride?
Why would he compress?
You still got to taste the, you know what I'm saying, the
Why
appetite.
would he compress?
The sample just to see if that's something that you want to partake in.
Bro, this is
Damn.
And that one will bounce out of
Maybe it's
the back of the end zone, so we will start here at the 25.
Dog, that shit's stupid. You back them off, and they still win it. Still in favor.
But that ain't my kind. Right. And I'm
These
extremely
are words.
respectful
San
to
Francisco
everybody. I
offense
respect
ready to start
everybody.
their next drive.
And when that time
This
comes
offense
for
looks like they
me
have a little extra
to
pep in their step as
express
they take the
myself,
field here for
I
drive
don't want
number
to
3
even
because
I
remember,
have
Charles,
children.
drives
I
from
have
1 to 2
sons. I have
both
daughters.
ended in the
And
end zone.
I raised them to be able to look every man and every woman in their eye and speak your mind. And there's a right and wrong way to articulate yourself. And I've never crossed that boundary by disrespecting somebody. Express myself.
That would be a crushing blow to the defense.
Are you good with football? I think the question is football done with me? Because if you give me ample time or you give me a situation that makes sense to me, are you trained to go back to play football? Man, I'm ready right now. That's what people okay. I see. I mean, it's like riding a bike. I've been playing this game since I was 7 years old. How's watch work out? Have you trained? Yes, sir. Are you trained? And don't let it cigar fool you. I'm smoking cigars. After a 2 a day, 3 a day, don't matter. Don't let this fool you now. How about this? Getting in is the easy
So
part.
first and 10 now from the 30.
Listen, go like this. I'm not begging nobody
Gets this complete
to go back. Right. If the opportunity presents itself where somebody feels the need that can help our franchise, I'll be ready. Have you or any of your representation reached out to any of the 32 teams? Yes.
Boy, CD, what a start
And
for them.
what's
Still in the
the
first
feedback?
quarter.
What's
They're
been saying?
absolutely
Oh,
blitzing
man, you
them. All
know,
the points that
we're
they put
exploring
up.
options
I'm
right
not
now.
sure what you say on the other
You know that
sideline right
professional
now.
time,
I
right?
think it's as simple as
All
this,
to say,
the way
I
that
think
they're
that's
playing,
yes, sir.
there's no limit
And
to
that's
what
fine.
this
That's
league
cool.
could
They have to
become.
do what's right for them, and I have to do what's right for me. And part of that is telling the people what's right for them. So you can't sit up there and say Cam ain't willing to be a backup. I told y'all I'll be a backup. These are the people who want to backup. And that still wasn't good enough. So what is it now? And I already knew that going into it because it's not necessarily what's being said, it's the source of who's saying it. Right.
The
Oh,
Saints
man,
offense on the field, ready to get
bringing
their
the
drive
Cam Newton
started.
into the franchise,
And
what
that
does that
last
say to the
touchdown drive
starter?
they had very
Am
balanced.
I
How
supposed
key
to
is that balance?
apologize for the order
Because
that I
most of
bring?
the time when we talk about
That's
balance is
me.
run,
That's
pass,
what made
almost
my
50-50.
room.
But most of the times when you
Put a
see
lot
the
on my
offensive
plate.
coaches, they
That's
say
how my father
balance is
raised me.
we do what we
And
want when we want
man,
to.
look,
And
my
that means in
father
every area of the
is
defense,
obviously the
keeping
most
them on their
influential man in
heels.
my
They
life.
imposed their will on
And
that
he is
last
as
drive.
holy as holy.
The last play
But
got
when
just
my
a
dad
yard.
know when I
Here's
talk to
second
him
and
like
9
this, like,
from the 26. They run it again with
this
Kamara.
not him as my
And he
pastor.
powers his
This
way
me
up past
talking
the
to him as
30.
a man. Right?
3rd and 4.
You ain't raised no bitch. So I gotta do what's right for me and my family and us,
Audible to
right?
something else.
And I'm not gonna let nobody play with me. So that could be intimidating
From the
to a
gun on 3rd
franchise
down.
because they think that
Working the
Cam
middle
is
of the
fucking
field.
like
He's
you've
got
never
David
had no
Motley.
problems
And he is
from
going to
Cam
have a
Newton.
Saints
You've
first
never
down by
seen
about
Cam
30
Newton
yards or
on the
so as they
DUI.
wind up
You've never
getting
seen
7 here
Cam
on
Newton
3rd and
have
4.
conduct
Ready
detrimental
for
to
the
the team.
second
You've
quarter
never
for
seen
New
Cam Newton
Orleans. It's the
oust
Saints in
the
possession.
organization, knowing that this wasn't my fault. I still take the blame. That's what quarterbacks are supposed to do, right? I've been an upright, honorable citizen in the eyes of the media. And now, when I have my way of expressing myself, who do you think you are? Cam Newton. Simple point. If I gave you a choice,
On first
the
down,
last drive,
Rhodes eluding
you
the
got 2
pressure
minutes on the
right.
clock, and you got to go 80 yards to get a touchdown.
Alvin Kamara reeling it in
Tom
on
Brady and
back-to-back
Patrick
plays.
Mahomes.
And he'll take this
Both
to
in
the
the
right
front.
side of midfield before
Brady.
going out of bounds. Giving back-to-back
Brady.
catches now. That one for 16.
I mean, not
And
to
another first down.
minimize Patrick. I remember playing. I never played Patrick Mahomes. The time I was supposed to play him, I had COVID. Okay. I remember playing Tom Brady
Operating from the
in New
gun.
England. I think it was 2017,
Oh,
2018.
the ball comes out on the
And
hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
the impact that he had,
Moving it a little bit, had them back
it
on
was
their
like
heels, but
the
they
game
got a
is
brief
never
pause
over.
by forcing the
As a
incompletion.
quarterback, you're never going to get distracted by
and try and mount a stand before
the
they back up
opposing
even further.
offense. You know what I'm saying? I think that's not. I think I know Patrick Mahomes has that. It's like when you score, it's like, damn, you left too much time. Right? Well, with Brady, the whole crowd, they were down I think about 2 scores. The whole crowd, Brady. That type of impact, I don't think the game will ever see that. In respect to moving time and time again with elite support cast and questionable support cast. Brady has always got it done. And I wouldn't say it just was Brady. It was Coach Belichick. It was Josh McDaniels. It was that whole organization. Brady was just the person that got a lot of credit. But if I were to that situation,
the 49er offense set to get this drive underway.
do you feel like when you're playing against a Brady or you're playing against a Mahomes now that you're actually competing against them? And I know when I'm on the field against Tom Brady, I'm on the field against Patrick Mahomes, but you know what they're going to do for sure. You got to match it. Yes, sir. I mean, as an athlete in that game or a player in that game, those are all things that you think in the back of your head. Forming that offense is paramount. Is of great desire that we got to get first down. We got to keep them off the field, you know. And as we're playing, these are the things that
hand it.
You know, protecting the football, whether in the pocket, outside the pocket, guys, you know, stay in bounds. It's the line. It's almost like the Jordan effect, the LeBron effect.
Hand it.
And when you're playing against them, you'd be lying if you didn't feel that impact to say, you already know who you're looking across from. I think you're 2-0 against Brady. Does it feel what you said? I didn't hear you. It was something. I think you're 2-0 against Brady. I think you beat him in Carolina and you beat him in New England. Yes,
Oh my God.
Beating a Brady or beating one of these Rodgers or beating one of these you'll see a different
That man defense is crazy.
What would it be?
And the only
You
way
hate
to truly be good ball hogs is
versus
not
Taylor.
guessing.
Obviously,
It's
one
not
in
just
the regular
simply
season
anticipation.
when he had
It's
that
study and understanding
crazy
what they
year
like to do
with
and beating them to
55
the spot and
touchdowns,
creating big
and
plays.
then
They're
obviously
watching
the
the
Super
film,
Bowl.
and it's working. They go
But
back to the
other than
air
that,
after the INT on the last
I
drive.
am on.
And that is
right.
caught on the
If I give
right
you a choice,
sideline, but
you
out
got to
of
start a
bounds.
friend.
Central line Jones.
Cam Newton is the general manager,
Throw took him a little
and you
too
get
far
Joe
on
Burrow,
second
Justin
down.
Herbert, Jalen Hurts, or Brock
And to put
Purdy
it mildly,
to
this is a
start
tough
your
spot
franchise
defensively.
with.
They have
Who
to
you
come
picking?
right back out and
Joe
defend that
Johnson.
red zone. But how about that good first step towards forcing them to settle for at least 3 points?
I seen him at a Super Bowl party, and I was like, yo, like
Imagine
this
being able
dude,
to stop
I
them
can see.
totally and change the momentum.
Like, guys, man, listen, he
Down,
got
and this
that
one
it factor.
incomplete as well.
And a lot of times, especially if you cover sports or you
They forced a couple of incomplete
it's
passes,
about
brought
it,
up a
you know,
3rd and
critique
10.
sports.
Don't be
You don't really
surprised
know
about
these
pressure.
people. You don't have real
The Chiefs are
interactions with
wasting
them.
this great
I
start
met
in
Joe,
field position.
cool guy,
A real threat.
and
This is 3rd and long.
his arm was just
And he's not
like
able to get
just a
away.
cool ass
Sacked
dude.
back
You know
at
what I'm
the
saying?
22.
Not taking anything away from Jalen, not taking anything from Brock, not taking anything from any other person, Justin
These
Herbert that
sacks
you
now,
that you
they're
spoke
starting
of.
to
But
pile up,
I
Charles. And
need
that front
guys
seven defensively,
that's gonna lead our
they had their way with
franchise.
this offensive
It's easy
line.
to say
And I
when
think at
things are
this
going
stage,
good,
we have to
but
start
are you
thinking
gonna give the
about different play
confidence
calls.
in that
We've got to
locker room
start
when
helping
things
this
going bad?
quarterback out because
And that's
the
what
entire
I
game
look
has
at
been
from.
under siege. I don't care what the down and distance.
Who
You
do you
got to
think
get
wins
the ball in his
win the
hands.
Super Bowl first? Jordan Love,
So the
Brock Purdy,
interception
Joe
set
Burrow,
up a
Lamar
terrific
Jackson,
field
Justin
position,
Herbert,
but
Dak
3
Prescott,
points,
Jalen
the
Hurts,
end result.
Lamar.
Yeah, we can make this one pretty simple, partner.
What
You
happened?
always
What
want
happened
them
this year?
drives with
Because it
points,
seemed like
but
everything
that's
was
one that you're
perfect.
going to roll
They
the
had
dice
home
on
field throughout.
and
They
probably
were
say
clearly
we should have
from
done better
about
there.
week 9 on the best team in the NFL, and it wasn't close. You
The
look at the
San
team that they
Francisco
beat. They
offense
beat
ready to
Miami.
start their next
God
drive.
knows how much. They did a
And we'll see
demolition
if
job
they
on the
can bounce
49ers.
back
They
from
beat
that
the doors
last
off
drive. In
Seattle.
particular,
All
if
the
they can
teams
bounce back
that
at the
made the
quarterback
playoffs or
position,
that was
Charles,
playoff
after throwing
potential,
their first
they
Oh.
of the
escaped
ball
out.
game.
Yeah, and some guys, you know,
The
they're going to
ramp
want to try
shot.
and get a big play right
And
away
then
and take control
this
back.
moment,
Others,
AFC
they're going to look
Championship
at a
game
couple
on
shorter
your home
passes, get a
field,
little
and
momentum
everybody
back
knows
that way.
Lamar Jackson's
But for the
going to be the
defense,
MVP.
that
Bro, the
goal's
only
not
question
changing
is,
a bit. They want
it's going
another
to be
pick.
unanimous.
You're exactly right
Yeah.
about that. In
I think
fact, you got to watch them.
One thing that Lamar and the Ravens organization just has to figure out,
Christian
it's not
McCaffrey,
to win the ugly
touchdown,
games.
49ers.
It's one of those situations like sometimes when I look at Lamar, it's like, bro, there's some thinking.
And the Niners
And it's
able to
easy
add
for
on to their first
a guy
half lead.
with that much talent
Extra
to
point
think,
try now for
oh,
Moody.
it's so many, like as a chef,
And he's been a
you can
busy
prepare
man.
this game in so many different ways. But everybody knows
to extend the lead.
your signature is slow. Man, slow this motherfucker and get on about your day. You got to win. The way to win the ugly games. And we can talk about the other stuff later. Patrick Mahomes has found a way to do that. I don't care what we need to do. We can talk about all this other drop balls. We can worry about all that shit after the end of the game. Let's find a way to win. Travis Kelce, we'll find a way to fucking win. And I think for Lamar, once he figures that out, not to say that he hasn't, but everybody around, because it's just not Lamar. It's
Fuck.
that's what made
I think he gonna throw that
Brady
one.
and the Patriots so dynamic. Because it could be, we're going to find a way to win that Super Bowl in Atlanta. That was the ugliest Super Bowl ever. Yeah. The Patriots versus the Rams. And low score, we thought it was going to be a high.
Oh!
Listen,
Good for 8 yards
So
to the 45.
he's found a way
That time on
to
the run
win.
pass option, where he
And
decided
once he
to throw
figures
it.
that out,
Not
the
a
organization
quick
figures that out.
drop-off. He went downfield a bit.
It's funny that you say that because Brady mastered that, and you mentioned Patrick Mahomes. Because you look at the Super Bowl against Philly, he threw for 180 yards. But every yard mattered, correct? He didn't have what he ended up going overtime, and I think he might have had close to 300. But you say that, it's like finding ways to win that people don't think you can, because everybody thinks
Be incomplete.
only when they get to the But sometimes he turned into a game manager because he because he understood, man, this is gonna be a low scoring game, man. I can't put this ball in harm's way. I can't fumble, can't make mistakes.
This time they face a third
Knowing
and
how
two.
to compartmentalize the different versions of yourself.
Kamara out of the backfield.
And that's what makes you a game changer. Because it may say, hey, easy.
It'll go
Hey, check. Hey, Bronco. Hey, 52 Samite. That's checking into a run play. Right? This is what I know what it is. I want to take this foul. We're calling 2 plays. This second and short or 3rd and 1. We're going to be aggressive. Okay, hey, easy. I got to get us out this play. First down, a 1-yard gain. Cool, that's fine. I need to understand what version of myself that I need to go into my deck of cards and say, okay, boom. Throw that little 10 of spade out. It's gonna walk though. You know what I'm saying? So each game, a quarterback, Cam Newton has to go in there and be the best version today of what is needed of me today. I'm gonna need to be Superman today. Put a microscope to it and this play. Okay, not today. Because in a given game, you may have anywhere from 45 plays to 62 plays. That's just been documented. What a regular game for an offense may look like. Those plays, each play will never look the same. Oh, I got one right here. Hey, easy. We're good. Set 180, easy. No, good. And you're taking your shot. That same thing may come out the next play. You want to take another shot. Oh, and kill that. These are what side players don't realize. It's a chess match. And too many times, you just think it's 11 on 11. It's about splitting that number down the middle and finding your 1-on-1. And the great ones do it, and you see what makes them great. The Cowboys are in a very precarious situation because they find themselves in a very similar situation to where they were 4 years ago. Dak Prescott going into the final year of his contract. That time they franchised and maybe put on a franchise tag, talking about franchise again to get more off. So here we are. That needs to do. What is it that Dak hasn't done to convince the Cowboys? Because clearly they're not convinced. Because Jerry said it after. We're only going to go as far as Dak carries us, and this is as far as he can carry us.
I couldn't get off my man.
Dak just going on with the Cowboys. Big games. He doesn't play his best. This message is to Dak Prescott. We looking for that motherfucking dog. And I don't think Jerry Jones will allow him to become that. Because you got to be politically correct. You got to be almost the president of football, almost, to be the signal caller for the Dallas Cowboys. What Dallas Cowboys need at that quarterback position is somebody to say, no, fuck that. This is my shit. This is what we gonna do. I hear all that. But we try to win. We try to win, yes or no? Okay, cool. Now unleash me and let me win this football game. That type of aura, I don't think that can be that. Jerry wants to win this way. You see what I'm saying? So those are going to be very combative forces that I don't know if they can get to that next level. I know a guy that played quarterback that didn't win nearly as much. Dak probably won more playoff games than him, and he never had to worry about a contract. The guy that Dak, come on up, came after.
And the Bills stuffed that one up in a big way. I think doubling
for the people, to the next level if you don't take care of that. Who you talking about? So the people that know.
All I know is Tony Romo's made the highest paid quarterback in football with no Super Bowls, no NFC Championship game.
Now
Burrow with the team all pro. He ain't never had to worry about contract.
And when he's done playing, he gets a deal. Yes. So what are we really talking about? So you want Cam Newton to shut up and sit? Well, I'm telling y'all that there's different rules for different people.
Yes.
When you can sit up there and say, "Oh, easy, this is slant coming. Hey, watch the pressure. Hey, watch this and watch that." As an athletic quarterback, you don't get enough credit. You think Lamar Jackson has been as successful as he is by him not understanding the football game and how people are going to play him? Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes. These athletic quarterbacks.
You said, like, okay, Romo got what he got when he played and then he goes out and he becomes color of CBS, gets this long-term deal.
But the long-term game, he ain't taking nothing. Yeah, Greg Olsen didn't get that deal. So it can't be no black and white thing. It's just like, how do you get that?
You want to call games?
Man, I want the money. I'll figure everything else out. Yeah, shit, I asked you a question about that. What made you get into Le Portier? Yeah. It's good fit. You realize that you can become a billionaire. Shit, we'll figure all the rest of the stuff out later. I ain't no different. Ken, do you want to call game? No. Shit, we're going to give you $30 million a year. Shit. So, but you can't go. Scam, you can't go in there and say, no, yes, I would love to call games. Well, yes,
Things for them.
What's the contract like? We're going to give you $750,000.
First half facing that big deficit. The clock is dwindling now.
I mean, it all depends on where you call your one slide, one slide, is here.
Man, you got to know who you are. You see what I'm saying? You take certain people from certain situations, and that situation ain't the same. My point, period. Undisputed ain't been the same since Shannon Sharp moved up out of there. Shannon Sharp gonna be straight. Not scared. Why the Raiders ain't the way to throw? Oh, it's because of you. No, you gotta figure out.
Oh no!
Yeah, but I think the thing is that.
Fortunate to retain possession there.
Don't get a lot of starting.
That certainly appeared to be
you start in the mail room, and then you're going to start carrying the mail, and then you're going to work your way up before you get to the penthouse. You're not going to the penthouse. You have to understand that. And see, you can be good at any game if you understand the rules and how to play the game.
I understand that, and I'm exposing that. So you do me a favor, okay? You go back to the introduction, and you give that resume, and you put that on.
That running trips, bro. Change it up.
And see if he don't become.
Get the number one slot.
Hello. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying about the rules. I'm just here to expose it. Like Jokic mentioned with Cat Williams said, I'm just here to collect information. And I'm just here to report. Don't get mad that I'm reporting what I've obviously seen was to be true.
And when everybody else knows, they just don't say.
So you gonna make me the bad guy because I'm reporting the truth? No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not in a position. I don't need you. You don't need me. But people need the truth.
You had a very interesting tape.
Again, he'll drop to throw.
Cousins. I want to know who his agent is for sure, because I want to know how a man that's won one playoff game been a game manager.
Guys, get back there.
Guaranteed $331 million, 35. He's coming off season-ending Achilles surgery at his age. The Falcons who just gave him $180 million, $100 million guaranteed, $50 million at the time of signing.
You gotta kick that field goal.
It ain't even. I mean, that's egregious. And I love the fact that he's able to get that money. Well, what the Falcons paid Kirk Cousins, they could have got Cam Newton, Justin Fields, and Vic for that price.
You realize they could have gave up 2 first rounders and got Lamar Jackson.
But we're not talking about that. See, this is the thing about sports that we don't do a better job of holding people to the floor. You judge, you critique Dak Prescott, you critique Cam Newton, you critique Lamar Jackson, you critique Patrick Mahomes. But who's to say for the ownership, the management, and all these decision makers by tricking off these key decisions? But Jay wants you to just shut up and play. Right. I'm sitting up at the mic. But when are we going to admit that these coaches really don't know what they're doing? These managers don't know what they're doing. These owners really don't know what they're doing. Or they're making bad situations. And the franchise is suffering from that. It's not just that y'all don't have good players.
When they see everything, if you and I make a bad decision, let's just say we make a bad investment. We can't recoup that. They make a bad investment. But the TV contract gonna pay them $300, $400 million. So what have they actually lost? You see how you overcome a bad investment? If you make a bad, let's just say you go out there and buy a piece of property for $50 million.
The 49er offense set to get this drive underway.
Say, you know what? I got $100 million coming in. Ain't no skin off my back. See, that's how they look at it. And see, I look at Atlanta. I think they were looking for the next Matt Ryan because the most successful quarterback in their history, I guess, as far as win and get to the Super Bowl, you look at Matt Ryan. Cook was basically a carbon copy of it.
Matt Ryan had Tony Gonzalez arguably his third.
Just his second catch of the game so far. This one moves the
chains. He had Rodney White. He had some Leo. He had some weapons. But they say, look here, we got to be some new.
You got defense.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the field. That's all you need. That's it.
They say we got Bijan Robinson, we got Drake London, we got Kyle Pitts, we got, I think they signed Mooney from Chicago. So it's like, we just need somebody to give them the ball.
But I'm telling you, with that 180 that you gave that guy, could have had, if not more, talent at that position. And he was on sale. Mercedes-Benz Stadium. People, the games for the 4 years that fellowship has been open has been in saying the same argument. When you go in that stadium, sometimes it's not max the capacity. If it was a teenager, when it comes to this, and they wasn't in Atlanta was something that the city needed, and that's where you got to talk to management to say, hey, listen, I understand it's twofold. We got to win football games and we got to sell tickets. I don't know, and I'm not saying that to shame Kirk Cousins. What I am saying is let's give a little bit more perspective to, because the perspective about it is, my say personally, Cam's getting old. He ain't getting no younger. He's 32 at the time. He coming off a shoulder injury, Liz Frank. Cool. All things that are not quote unquote serious injuries.
They're not career ending.
Career ending. If you tore your Achilles back when you was playing, get done.
Yeah, you were never the same.
So now he's coming back. I had this take on 4th and 1. You're giving this person the money coming off an injury. So how am I supposed to feel? Because the same questions and the same concerns that you had with me, obviously you done overlooked that.
You see, don't have those concerns with him.
And if you give Kirk Cousins my resume, he probably would have gone off. But I'm tripping. But I'm bitter. But I'm mad. I'm not. I'm just exposing the truth. And it's for you to digest however you feel.
There are a lot of running backs that changed teams. Derrick Henry went to the Ravens, Saquon Barkley went to the Eagles, and Joe Mixon went to the Texans. They also got Stephon Diggs. Which running back do you feel would have the biggest impact?
So the completion results there in 9 yards. And now 3rd down and 6 to go. Operating from the gun.
The biggest impact. I don't think he has as many yards, but I think he has a bigger impact. Derrick Henry. You know what I'm saying? Like, he made a great year for Derrick Henry would be 750 yards. Not 1,000 that he used to, because obviously you got to share that. Come on. If he can get 750 and take that, put these games away, like we've all known the Baltimore Ravens just to I think Derrick Henry.
I think Derrick Henry needs to have about 1,100 because I don't want Lamar to run. Because now when you play action that thing with Big D Henry coming down the hill, and you like and he rolls over and Lamar pulls that ball up out of there, Zay Flowers, those guys gonna be running stop.
Oh, for sure. But I don't think 1,100 yards is gonna make or break that impact.
That ain't nothing in 17 games.
Which is true, but you got to understand, I don't see Derrick Henry averaging
Set now to kick this one away.
120, 140 yards per.
No, can you give us 70?
Yes. Yes. So 70 times 17. If that's the average, that's all we need. That's it. And then when you get into the red zone, we gotta shrink this field. Now they really gonna be on the attack and dictating to the defense.
Right.
Now we're playing chess.
Right. Christian McCaffrey, you played a couple of years with him. I believe he's the best running back in football because of what he can do.
Right.
He's not 225 pounds, but he can run inside, he can run outside, you can put him in the slot, he can catch it, you can put him out wide, you can swing dump it to him, he can make people miss, and he's better than you think.
Why you stop?
Even though of his size. What did you notice about C-Mac when he was there with you in Carolina?
Christian McCaffrey was polished to be a professional football player when he was in Redbone.
Really?
Like, I mean, I think the viral clip went around when, you know, his father Ed was giving him IVs and hospital. That's a little different. His preparation before how he take care of his body. A big Bruce Lee fan. B.S. Walter. This guy takes care of his body better than I've ever seen anybody, from his dieting to his
Trainers, physio,
just preparation before, you know, practice.
Right.
He has a real routine, and I think for him, it's not about size, because he understands that the Christian McCaffrey that we see today was not the Christian McCaffrey we saw as a rookie. He realized I had to put on weight to endure this type of beating.
Right.
But I think Christian McCaffrey is capped by the position that he plays, because he's so much more than just If you really want to put Christian McCaffrey, he could be a top 10 receiver. And that's not fabrication. This is, if you say, all right, C-Mac, this year we're going to move you from running back and we're going to put you in a slot. And I guarantee you, he does numbers. That's just his position. What I think he's making 17 a year, around that, where he should be making 25 as like a top tier receiver.
Right.
That's just the impact that Christian McCaffrey had.
A lot of speculation, and I don't know how true it is because I haven't really talked to anybody about Lamar. And the free agent wide receivers, top free agent wide receivers, didn't want to go there because it's not that they don't believe Lamar can throw. It's just the type of offense that they believe they run. They're going to be doing more blocking than catching. Was that something that you experienced, that it wasn't that Cam couldn't throw because you threw for 4,000 yards as a rookie?
Yeah.
So clearly you could throw the football. But because of the type of offense that you guys ran, receivers, free agent receivers, felt that, man, I'm not going to get an opportunity to showcase, and they're going to say, I'm a bust because I'm not catching 100 balls.
So it's the situation as a receiver that you got to say, hold on, that's not a good situation for me. I'm a fan of Lamar.
Right.
I'm speaking as a receiver. I'm a fan of Lamar, but that may not be the right situation. I don't think Stephon Diggs was sitting up there saying, I want to go to Baltimore.
Correct.
I think we found that out with Odell. You know, Odell wasn't featured like he would have thought featured, but that doesn't say he still doesn't have it. But I've definitely dealt with that as well, and I think the Ravens organization is not in the position of trying to promote Pro Bowl players. We're trying to create Super Bowl players.
Right.
And our system is what it is, and it goes through and it stops with Lamar Jackson.
Two-part question. Russell Wilson comes to Denver. We know what he did in Seattle. Goes without saying. He went to the Super Bowl, won one, lost another, was a bad play call away from possibly winning 2 Super Bowls within his first 2 to 3 years of his NFL career.
Oh, he caught that.
50,000 yard passing, over 300 touchdowns. He's going to have 400 passing touchdowns before. Why didn't it work in Denver? I'm sure you've heard the stories about how some of the things transpired that wasn't football related.
Yeah, but I don't think when you change ownership or when you change coaching, they got to go with their guys. I don't think when Sean Payton got into that locker room,
and it impacted his play, whether the pressure of everything. And your psyche while you're playing, good or bad, you know, you got that in the back of your mind. They tried to make it work, but it just wasn't that. That's one. Two is he didn't have the support that he had in Seattle. You would have thought how many times the Carolina Panthers played Seattle Seahawks, they was a divisional game. And it was some battles, right? Yeah. So I knew the impact of the Legion of Doom, the Legion of Boom, however you want to look at it. The 12th man with Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, Richard Sherman, B.Y. Wagner, like KJ Wright, you know, Bruce Irvin, like these guys, like they were intimidating, bro. And they wasn't trying to beat those boys and dap you up. We'll do that shit after the season. Even after the end of the game, we ain't with no friendly shit. Fuck you. When you have that to look across, I don't think he had that type of same support in Denver. Right. Not to say that defense wasn't a stand-up defense. It was just a lot of combinations of things where it was just a style of play. Pete Carroll had that organization. They was bound to have something happen. That was like, oh, bro, it don't happen to nobody but Seattle. They always a play away. You know, when you see that that comeback from the Green Bay that year, it was just like, no, it would not happen to no other team. Even when we played them during our year going to the Super Bowl, we were up by like 28 points. They came back, and if it wasn't for an onside kick that we recovered, that was just that type of team. Right? And, you know, I don't think that was the same rollout in Denver.
And then you get the situation, goes as a 15th pick overall. I think he top 20 pick. Had some good moments, tremendous legs. Yeah. Studied, got better at studying, understand the plays, understand what was expected of him. Why didn't they work in Chicago?
But that's where we got to also not just critique Justin Fields. We got to critique management. And they didn't put him in the best positions to be successful. He's running. The unbelievable legs. He's running for his life.
Right.
Shit, you put somebody else in there that can't run, he would have had double the sacks. And also preparing him or having him evolve as a player that he needs to become. That's coaching. That's general management. That's ownership. This is our franchise guy. We gotta develop him in a way for longevity.
Right.
We're seeing the same thing kind of happen with Bryce Young. If y'all don't develop this player in the right way, then we're gonna say after a year or two he was a bust.
Right.
But that's not the player. That's the management going into a situation. Because if you were to put the power back into the players during the draft, and if it wasn't up to management to say who they wanted to go to, a lot of these teams, nobody wanted to go there because they know the insufficiencies of management. But the players don't have that Eli power to say, no, I don't want to go over here.
Right.
But if they did, it would be more teams saying, I don't want to go to this team.
Right.
Why would I want to do that? I seen what y'all did to him.
Right.
Yeah, I ain't going to do that with me.
So now both of these guys end up in Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin, and he says right now Russell Wilson is in the pole position, and there will be a time that Justin Fields will be able to compete for the starting job. So what do you think the Steelers' thought process was? Because I have my opinion on what I think it is. Tell me what you think it is.
I think Mike Tomlin is doing what I just said. He's developing Justin Fields. Hey, we're going to bring in a veteran that you can see not only his preparation on the field, but how does he take care of his body? I want you to study that. And then he's on a one-year contract. If he does not produce, then you will be inserted to take on that. And you're still young enough to be labeled a franchise guy. So it's chess here. And if anybody can coach Justin Fields, it's Mike Tomlin. Because he knows the struggles. He knows how the vernacular or choice of words to get through to his quarterback. in that type of manner.
What does Lamar have to do to get to that Super Bowl? Because he's been an MVP twice.
Yeah.
One vote away from being a two-time unanimous MVP, two-time first-team All-Pro, Pro Bowls. We know he's going to the Hall of Fame. But I believe he needs that one Super Bowl. Now we start talking about Lamar as one of those pantheon, one of those 6, 7 quarterbacks with multiple super. Because there are many that have multiple MVPs and Super Bowl.
But this is the thing that I think we get so jaded and distracted by things that have so many different determining factors. Right? Does Brady have as many Super Bowl rings without certain rules being in place? Does Patrick Mahomes have, the same amount of, if this play goes one way, that play goes another? I don't think Lamar Jackson's greatness is dictated or predicated off of him winning the Super Bowl.
No, he's great, for sure. But the EST, what we're trying to add.
For sure. But I think, like I said earlier, the Baltimore Ravens have to find a way to win the ugly games.
Yeah.
And if we can find a way to win those type of games, that's all 3 levels and 3 phases of football. That's offensively, defensively, and special. If we can find a way to win those type of games, then we'll be good. There's no denying that they have enough talent to win. But I don't want the pressure to be on any player to think that you got to win a Super Bowl to be labeled a great player or a generational player. We've seen it time and time again. I always ask this question because it's so paramount to putting perspective into sports. Impact or championship. You look at a guy like Allen Iverson. Is he not great?
Yes.
Does he not get the EST?
No, I think the way I look at it, Cam, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you could be great without winning a championship. But in order for us to add the EST, you have to have won a championship. Karl Malone is a great player. Is he better than Tim Duncan because he didn't have time? He can't be. Charles Barkley is a great player. I believe you can be great without winning a championship in any sport. Barry Bonds. But you have to win championships.
But you're thinking about a lot of determining factors. When
the same determining factors that went into him winning the MVP.
It's just true. But hear me out. Karl Malone was a great player and was a shot away from obtaining an NBA championship. If it wasn't for the Russell push-off, push-off crossover, and then we seen Michael Jordan's last shot as a Bull.
Yes.
If he misses that shot, then Karl Malone, do we know him to still have that same thing? So his greatness was still, it is what it is. It's so many different things in sports that we look at and say to ourselves, let's look at Caitlin in college right now.
Yes.
All right. During this time, we don't know if she's going to win the national championship.
Correct.
But her not winning the national championship, does that suppress her greatness?
No, she's still great. But I can't put her in front of Taurasi. I can't put her in front of Stewie. I can't put her in the others that have multiple championships and have the same credentials. They won Final Fours and won Finals MVP. They won Naismith Awards. So I just, like I said, is she great? Yes, I believe you can be great without winning a championship. But in order for us to add the EST, you have to have a championship.
Say less. That's opinionated. But that's just a discussion that barbershops all across America and cigar conversations.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Without those championships, would you still look at Kobe the same way without those championships? Would you still look at Jordan the same way without those championships?
Yes.
No way.
Yes.
No.
Because I'm going to tell you this. No, you're right. You're right. But I don't respect the championship that Kobe won with Shaq more than I appreciate the championship that he won with Lamar Odom.
Okay.
Or Powell. Or Derek Fisher. That one was a grinder. That's a person going back to what I was saying. There was some ugly wins.
Yes.
It required him to exert just as much energy on the offensive side as the defensive side. He's guarding the best player. And I'm still giving everything that I got.
Right.
But that still doesn't negate that he was on a great team.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Like, those teammates have to also understand the amount of focus that it requires. Like, when you got a great player, we can't just say, "Oh, Lamar got it."
Right.
Everybody urgency has to ride.
Yes.
And the great players brings that out from the whole organization. Patrick Mahomes does it.
Yeah.
Tom Brady has done it. And I see what you're saying. So I would agree with what you're saying.
The Panthers, the team that you spent the lion's share of your career with, how do they put Bryce Young in a situation where they can get the maximum value for what they gave to get him?
Well, I remember having a conversation with a brief conversation with him during Super Bowl. I saw him at a party, and I think he needs to understand that voicing his opinion is important.
Yes.
Some quarterbacks have that freedom too, and some don't. You ain't at the age where you can tell us who and what you want.
Yeah, you're a rookie.
Yeah, but you have to, because every offensive coordinator asks their quarterback this question. Game on the line, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 8. Gotta have a situation. Who would you prefer to throw the football to? See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, game on the line or going into the season, what do you need to be successful?
Right.
And he needs to have those answers for that. So talk to Bryce. Bryce has to obviously be open to doing it, not doing it publicly.
Right.
Right? But doing it behind the scenes to say, listen, if we got this person in the draft, this is who I want.
Right.
Like, I need to be protected.
Right.
And not to just think selflessly on the offensive side. Man, we need defense. We need to control, like, understanding what our division is. Because first, in any type of team atmosphere, you have to dominate your division first.
Yeah.
That only guarantees you that you will go to the playoffs.
Well, I'm not so sure they know what the hell they're doing, because they had an opportunity to get 2 first rounders for Brian Burns, and they traded him to the Giants for less than that.
We have to start holding these people in management accountable. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And when a guy like me says that, it's like, what the fuck would you do? I'll tell you what I'll do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that even going back to the franchise, it's like, bro, you should not have cleaned your house like you clean your house. Getting rid of a Ryan Khalil impacted that offensive line. Getting rid of a Thomas Davis impacted that defense, not just the linebackers. Losing Luke, how you lost Luke. Luke retired, right? But I do think Luke would not have retired if he knew that locker room was still going to be intact. He probably would have took some time off, right? And his health isn't important. You know, taking concussions extremely serious. But that would have been something that you would have had to consider, being a Luke Kuechly, knowing that I still got KK Short, I still got Charles Johnson, I still got Thomas Davis, I still got guys that's gonna battle with me. You dig what I'm saying? Julius Peppers. They all left, and that's pretty deep. These are the things that he had to think back and say, hold on, we ain't got nothing. I got to start over? Nah, I'm good with that. And I can't speak for Luke, but these are the things that on hindsight you got to do.
Shoot the word.